Imagine being denied justice in a courtroom, a place meant to uphold fairness and truth, simply because of who you are. This is the story of a Black woman who faced a biased prosecutor determined to rob her of a fair trial. But what he didn't know was that she was quietly uncovering his own secrets, financial misconduct that could shatter his career. While he manipulated the system to stack the odds against her, she was building a case of her own, piece by piece, exposing the truth he desperately tried to hide. This isn't just a story about one woman's fight for justice. It's about the dangerous misuse of power and the courage it takes to confront it. What happens when the tables turn and the hunter becomes the hunted? Stay with us to uncover how this jaw-dropping story unfolds. Justice may not always come easy, but sometimes it comes with a twist. The story begins in a small courtroom where the stakes were anything but small. The prosecutor, known for his aggressive tactics and quick wins, had one goal: to secure a conviction at all costs. His target was a Black woman who had been accused of a crime she insisted she didn't commit. From the start, the odds were stacked against her. Evidence that could have helped her was conveniently dismissed. Witnesses who might have told a different story were ignored. It was clear this wasn't about justice. It was about power. But the prosecutor had no idea who he was dealing with. Behind her calm demeanor, she was someone who refused to be silenced. She had already started noticing cracks in his polished image, whispers of shady deals, unexplained money trails, and decisions that didn't add up. With every piece of information she uncovered, the stakes grew higher. The question wasn't just about her freedom, it was about exposing the truth. As the trial continued, the prosecutor tightened his grip, using every trick in the book to paint her as guilty. He relied on biased testimonies, questioned her character at every turn, and played to the prejudices he knew might sway the jury. To him, it was just another case, another win to add to his record. But for her, it was personal. Her life, her reputation, her freedom were on the line. Each passing day brought more frustration, but also more resolve. Outside the courtroom, she quietly pursued the clues she'd stumbled upon about the prosecutor's financial misdeeds. A forged signature here, an unexplainable transaction there. It all pointed to something bigger, something corrupt. She couldn't help but wonder how many others had suffered because of his actions. Yet she couldn't say anything, at least not yet. If she revealed her findings too soon, it could all fall apart. The truth was just within reach, but so was the danger of losing everything. As the trial reached its final stages, the courtroom buzzed with tension. The prosecutor was confident, his every move calculated to tip the scales in his favor. He delivered sharp arguments, weaving a narrative meant to bury her beneath a mountain of doubt. But behind his polished exterior, cracks were beginning to show. She had uncovered enough to know he was hiding something big. Money funneled through suspicious accounts, questionable payments tied to past cases, and even rumors of bribes. Each discovery made her more certain. This wasn't just about her trial. This was about exposing the truth. But how could she bring this to light without risking her own case? Time was running out, and every decision felt like walking a tightrope. Meanwhile, the prosecutor's confidence faltered in private. Whispers of investigations into his financial dealings started to surface, and for the first time, he realized his perfect facade might be crumbling. Both sides were racing against the clock, and the courtroom had become more than a battleground. It was the stage for a reckoning neither could escape. Just when it seemed like the trial couldn't get any more intense, an unexpected turn threw everything into chaos. During a routine cross-examination, a key witness accidentally let slip a detail that didn't align with the prosecutor's carefully constructed story. It was small, almost unnoticeable, but it was enough to plant doubt. The woman's defense attorney seized the moment, pushing harder, and the cracks in the prosecutor's case began to widen. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, her quiet investigation took a dramatic leap forward. A confidential tip landed in her hands, a document tying the prosecutor to a major financial scandal. The evidence wasn't just about backroom deals. It suggested he had used his position to profit from cases like hers, exploiting the very system he claimed to uphold. Now, the stakes weren't just about her freedom. If she could prove this, it wouldn't just expose his corruption. It would bring his entire career crashing down. But revealing it too soon could backfire, especially since she still had no idea who else might be protecting him. The walls were closing in on both sides, and the tension was unbearable. Every decision she made from here on out could change everything. The courtroom was electric as the defense attorney presented a bold new motion. The document linking the prosecutor to financial misconduct had surfaced at just the right moment, forcing the judge to pause proceedings and review the evidence. Gasps rippled through the room as the details unfolded: bribes, embezzlement, and a clear pattern of targeting vulnerable defendants for personal gain. The prosecutor's confident demeanor cracked, his protests drowned out by the weight of the revelations. But the twist came when someone unexpected stood up, a junior prosecutor from his own office. Nervous but resolute, she confessed to having witnessed the cover-ups firsthand, supplying more damning evidence to the court. It was the final blow. The judge ordered an immediate investigation into the prosecutor's actions, and the trial was postponed indefinitely. For the woman at the center of it all, justice wasn't just about clearing her name. It was about ensuring no one else suffered under his corruption. As she walked out of the courtroom, free for the first time in months, she knew this battle was over. But the war for fairness and accountability was far from won. In the days that followed, the fallout was swift and far-reaching. The prosecutor was suspended pending a full investigation, and his past cases were placed under scrutiny. The once feared figure now faced the justice system he had manipulated for so long. For the woman who had fought tirelessly for her freedom, it was a bittersweet victory. She had won her case, but the cost, months of fear, stress, and an uphill battle against a rape system, was something she could never forget. Her courage didn't just clear her name. It sparked conversations about accountability and the need for fairness in the justice system. She became a voice for others who had been silenced, proof that persistence could expose even the deepest corruption. As she walked away from the courthouse, she wasn't just leaving her own trial behind. She was stepping into a future shaped by the truth she'd fought to uncover.